Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being, Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and World Health Week and World Health Month 2023 with the theme Health for All. And we are also collaborating Psychology Week this entire week, and also commemorating India's G20 presidency in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for START, the Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions and commemorations today, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. We request everyone, for those who have not completed registration, to complete your registration. Registration link has been shared in the chat box. It is mandatory for the certification. So today we have a few commemorations, like we have various weeks that are being commemorated. Apart from that, we have various days. This week is very crucial, as we have seen. There are a lot of commemorations. So let's look into each aspect of commemorations. So let's start with World Immunization Week. which is commemorated from April 24th, that is today, till 30th of April in US. So this is an annual event observed in the last week of April. It aims to educate the public about why vaccines are necessary for the health of the millions of people around the world. For numerous reasons, children and adults miss out on essential vaccines, which increases their risk of contracting various preventable diseases such as polio, measles, and smallpox. The purpose of this week is to identify challenges in gaining access to vaccines and overcome those barriers for the benefit of the global population. People now realize that unless everyone is safe from disease, nobody is truly immune. This COVID has taught us. So although great strides in inoculation has already been made in Asia and Africa, it is still very risky. Vaccination only really took off in England during the end of 18th century after becoming widely understood as a way to prevent smallpox. A patient waiting for her turn or his turn to see the doctor made an interesting comment. She remarked that she could not catch smallpox as she already had cowpox. Her comment did not escape the attention of Edward Jenner, a young medical student who was also present. He obsessed over the idea while completing his studies in London. After graduating, he started practicing medicine in his hometown of Gloucestershire, where he would eventually discover that the lady was right. While developing a cure for smallpox, he found that the people who had cowpox had fewer chances of getting smallpox. After having successfully conducted in the necessary experiments, he went on to give the patients a light dose of cowpox to ensure their protection from the horrible plague of smallpox. Further progress was made in 1798 when Jenner conducted another crucial test. 4 children who have been vaccinated with cowpox were now given a weak form of smallpox to protect them against the disease. In support of this theory, not one of them caught smallpox. He made this great discovery of vaccination, which today has helped researchers develop various vaccines to prevent life-threatening diseases. So that's how the history of vaccination started. So we have International Vaccination Day that is being observed every year on March 6th. And as already mentioned, there are, these vaccines work in such a way that they are engineered to trigger the body's immune system, which then protects the individual from the disease. So there are at least 6 jabs that every adult should get. These include chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, and the flu, among others. So on this occasion, find the history of vaccination. Like you can attend the events like us where we do a lot of commemorations, and also visit your local library or online encyclopedia on the internet to learn more about different diseases that have plagued humankind throughout the years. Also research how those people dealt with these pandemics. Today, we have a weak immune system, especially, we are vulnerable to various diseases, though we have developed so many vaccines and medicines, because a lot of metal pollution and high pollution and our lifestyle and food habits, we have developed a lot of weak immune system, and we are more vulnerable to getting virus. Besides getting vaccinated, working on strengthening your immunity is another way of preventing life-threatening diseases. Especially we Indians who follow still Indian traditional diet are still better than the other counterparts of the world, where they are more vulnerable, because we use a lot of spices and other home ingredients which are very much essential in building up our immunity. We have seen even in the COVID also, across the world, there were huge deaths that has happened. Comparatively, India, with such a huge population, we were saved from such a disaster because we were consuming so much of Indian traditional, these food ingredients, which in our kitchen, we have almost everything which can boost our immunity. And you can volunteer, and you can also partner with different charitable organizations to bring awareness and also to raise funds that provide vaccination to children across the globe to prevent diseases such as chickenpox and measles. Funds are needed in research and development of vaccines, where you can support efforts by providing financial assistance or by kind. So we have certain interesting facts about our body. The skin on our eyelids is only 0.04 inches thick. These eyelids, and adults have about 1.2 to 1.5 gallons of the blood in their body, the total blood volume, and brain cells are the smallest in the human body. The human backbone consists of 206 separate bones called vertebrae. The human body stops growing at the age of 18. This development is significant development, not absolute development. It supports research efforts to develop new vaccines. Viruses are microorganisms that spread many diseases among human beings. Animals, plants, and trees. We support a day that celebrates advanced vaccines and conducting research to control the spread of diseases. And many diseases such as poliovirus and smallpox have been successfully eradicated in developing countries through the use of vaccines and vaccines. This week helps create awareness about the benefits of immunization to prevent the spread of various life-threatening diseases. So nearly all types of vaccines have side effects that are usually mild and don't need medical attention. Many people don't get vaccinated without proper knowledge and information for the fear of experiencing these side effects. Throughout the week, various seminars, awareness programs, conferences are held to raise awareness about the long-term benefits and temporary side effects of different types of vaccines. Of course, vaccines also do not provide 100% protection, but comparatively, they provide the maximum extent of protection. This week is also commemorated as World Laboratory Animal Liberation Week. In US, we can see a lot of animals, especially laboratory animals, are typically subjected to a variety of treatments by scientists, resulting in millions of animals suffering and dying each year in laboratories. Although improved procedures are being introduced into laboratories to replace animal testing, some antiquated laws still require animal testing before the product may be introduced to the market. This week raises about the brutality that animals face in the laboratory and persuades the government to fund advanced experimental procedures that are more relevant to the humans and safer for animals. The Institute of World Day for Laboratory Animals was founded in 1979, while the Associated Animal Laboratory Week was founded on April 20, 2020. They had both been the driving force behind the movement to end the cruelty of animals in laboratories. They seek to replace the use of animals with scientific treatments that are suitable for the purpose and will discourage the use of animals. Commercial facilities, universities, pharmaceutical businesses, and medical schools are common places where animals are used in research. Living animals were used for experiments for Erasistrus and Aristotle among the first. Galen, a Roman physician in the 2nd century, dissected pigs and goats after death. Avenzoar, an Arabic physician in Moorish Spain in the 12th century, devised an experimental strategy for testing surgical operations on animals before trying them on humans. Animals have been used in biomedical research from the beginning of the recorded history. The Dublin Zoo was founded in 1831 by doctors who were interested in research, both living and dead animals. In the 1800s, Louis Pasteur used an anthrax to show the germ theory of medicine. Pasteur demonstrated the germ theory of medicine in the 1880s by introducing anthrax into sheep. For many diseases, the germ theory is currently accepted scientific theory as it asserts that germs or pathogens are microorganisms that can cause disease. Toxicology testing became popular in the 20th century. Drug regulations were relatively relaxed in the 19th century. In the United States, for example, the government could ban a drug only after it has prosecuted a company for selling the same drugs that harm its users. However, in reaction to the 1937 Exler sulfamide catastrophe, in which eponymous medicine killed over 100 people, the United States Congress created regulations requiring drug safety testing on animals before they could be commercialized. So Robert Koch in 1880s, Koch infected guinea pigs and mice with anthrax. The death of mules, the Germans infected mules in Argentina, which resulted in the death of 200 mules in 1970. Insulin is isolated from dogs, which brings about the treatment of diabetes in 1922. Antibiotic treatment for leprosy develops using armadillos in 1970s. So this is how many animals were used in the testing. Experiments or scientists or experimenters perform surgeries on them repeatedly. They are frequently force-fed and have wires placed in their brains. And after all of this, they are given no painkillers and thrown into the cage. So most of them are euthanized, while few of them are adopted out. After testing, animals do experience pain during testing, as they are also sentient beings like us. So sign a petition. Petitions are going around to stop the use of animals for experiments in laboratories. You can observe this day by signing one. By doing that, you have contributed to the movement. If you are a scientist or a researcher that have been previously experimenting on animals and hurting them in the process, you can observe by putting an end to that practice. Other advanced methods are being introduced to laboratories to use instead of animals. So you can lend your voice to this movement by spreading the word, educate people on the harm that animals in the laboratories are exposed to and why we need to stop the practice. So some interesting facts about animals. Cats have no collarbone. Cats are very flexible because they have no collarbones. No two dogs have similar nose prints. Like we have fingerprints, unique fingerprints, dogs also have unique nose prints. The only mammal that can fly is a bat. And female mosquitoes are the only mosquitoes that bite. Not all mosquitoes bite. So pigs don't have sweat glands and their pigs don't sweat. So we care about animals and it bothers us. They are being utilized in laboratories for a variety of research that may cause them harm. This day contributes to raising awareness of how significant this is Animals are used for experiments because they cannot talk. It is believed that they have no rights and they have limited ability to defend themselves against injustice, cruelty done to them. So this day is an opportunity for us to stand against the injustice being done to animals and protect animal rights. It encourages the use of technology by putting a stop to use of animals in laboratories. We are encouraging the use of an alternative, which is advanced technology, to replace the use of animals. This week is also commemorated as Preservation Week in US. It is a national campaign to help boost the awareness of collecting written material and artifacts and their preservation, acquaints the general public with conservation, expertise and information, connecting individuals, communities to public collections. The Society of American Archivists, the Library of Congress, the American Library Association, the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences, and several other heritage organizations endorse and observe Preservation Week. The first instance of Preservation Week took place in 2010. It was organized by the American Library Association, ALA in short, the aim of which was to highlight the importance of preserving cultural heritage materials. The conservation of books and documents involve preserving materials such as paper and ink in the effort to maintain information contained in them. Conservation includes techniques such as bookbinding, restoration, paper chemistry, and other material technologies that ensure preservation of archives. Around 750 BC, the Old Testament prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah emphasized the importance of conserving documents to be used in future. Years after that, in 1627, Gabriel Lord published Advis Por Dresser Unibae Biblothi, which included a chapter discussing preservation. All-inclusive national survey was conducted in 2005 on the preservation needs of the US, written material and artifact collections. The study noted that American institutions hold more than 4.8 billion items. Libraries alone hold 3 billion, about 63% of the total. The rest is held by individuals, communities, and families. These collections constitute prints, reports, books, photographs, and drawings, and objects such as maps, textiles, paintings, sculptures, decorative arts, and furniture. Sound recordings are moving images of performing arts and oral history also qualify as heritage items. Today, digital collections are growing in number as technology rapidly evolves. If natural disasters have taught us any lessons, it is that resources, including personal, family, and community collections, are at risk of being lost forever if not preserved properly. So creating awareness is one way of encouraging preservation. So how do you keep your books dust-free? You could also wrap up your books in a cloth for extra protection as you prepare to store them. And how do we preserve paintings? Keep them out of direct sunlight, store them upright, and store them in a cool, dry place. Do not store your canvas prints on the floor and store large paintings and canvas prints in mirror boxes. How can you preserve audio recordings? Make at least 2 or more copies of your selected audio recordings. A copy can stay on your laptop or computer, and others saved on different media, such as CDs, DVDs, hard disks, pen drives, or even on cloud or the internet. So this week, visit library. The American Library Association urges library and other institutions to use this week to emphasize the need for preservation. It also wants the public to know what can do to help in conserving private and public collectors. So visit a library to at least appreciate the preserved collections there. You can invite a speaker or talk about a preservation. That's what we are doing now. School or community leaders can use this opportunity to create awareness around preservation. Appreciation for such efforts will lead to better care of our collections. And find out where you can view conservation treatment. Also search for online videos that show techniques used in preservation. And there are over 4 billion artifacts. These include thousands of archives, scientific research, collections, and archaeological repositories keeping by historical societies, libraries, and museums. More than 50% of collecting institutions have had their archives and historical artifacts damaged by light. So a lot of collections are being destroyed. Over 65% of collecting institutions report damage to their document and artifact collections due to inadequate storage practices. So collections are also destroyed by improper storage. Most institutions do neglect their collections. About 80% of the collecting institutions have no paid staff assigned the responsibility of preservation. The sun rays and the light from artificial sources cause archived items to fade and disintegrate. So history is important because it reminds us of important milestones in the past. At most basic level, it gives us pride in civic culture and promotes an appreciation of local and national heritage. On this day, conventions and similar events are set up to aid and encourage us to properly care for our collections. We will learn to protect our cultural remnants by minimizing their deterioration and preventing the loss of important information. Going through our old collections elicits positive feelings. Looking back at old photographs, for example, shows us how far we have come and gives the hope for future. This week is also commemorated as National Youth Violence Prevention Week in US, sponsored by the National Association of Students Against Violence Everywhere, in short known as SAVE. And Sandy Hook Promise this week looks at different instances of youth violence that have taken place over the past few years. It also aims to encourage student involvement so that people of all ages are better prepared to tackle cases of youth violence before they occur. The end goal is to ensure no young lives are lost in horrifying acts of violence. In the history of the United States, numerous cases of youth violence have occurred, leaving students scattered or scared for life. However, it was until the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting that the idea to dedicate a week to preventing school violence was formulated. The Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, also known as Newtown shootings of 2012, occurred on December 14th. The tragic attack left 28 people dead, and while 2 were injured. The shocking aspect of the story was the fact that the crime was committed by a 20-year-old. The killer, Adam Lanza, started the murder spree by killing his mother at their home. He brutally shot her 4 times with a .22 caliber rifle. The firearms that were used in tragedy had previously been purchased by Lanza's mother. After killing his mother, Lanza drove to the Sandy Hook Elementary School, an institute for kindergarten through 4th grade students. As he reached the school, he started shooting whoever came in his way. This includes security guards and the Sandy Hook principal. It was 9:30 a.m. and as the gunshots rang through the school, protocol to protect the students was immediately implemented. Alas, lives were still lost as Lanza entered classrooms and fired 154 rounds in less than 5 minutes. 26 lives were lost and many of them had been shot multiple times. After the killings, Lanza committed suicide. So, however, after the attack, a conversation regarding the US gun laws made center stage. During this time, a national non-profit organization called the Sandy Hook Promise was founded by several family members who lost their loved ones in the attack. Even in 1999, two students go on a murder spree at Columbine High School in Colorado, killing 12 students. And in 2005, a 16-year-old shoots and kills 7 people at Red Lake Senior High School in 2005. And even in 2007, 32 people were killed after a student opened fires at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. And in 2014, a community college student killed 6 people and wounds 13 in the area near the University of California, Santa Barbara camp. So there has been a lot of youth violence, especially where the widespread of gun culture, where you can buy these arms very easily, like you buy anything in the grocery store. So the 3 major factors that led to youth violence include domestic violence, child abuse, and media influence. Serious youth violence is an offense when serious violence or a weapon is involved and the victim is aged 1 to 19. So take a stand and tell someone you trust about the violence you are being subjected to. Many programs have now been started to ensure students are counseled effectively so they never resort to violence. Donate to the one you like the best. So do not have a large amount of cash. Donate, that's okay. You can simply volunteer at an organization and lend your hand in contributing to the solution to the problem of youth violence. There are so many things you can do this week. All you need to do is a proactive attitude. Print flyers that narrate the causes of youth violence and spread awareness regarding how we can join forces to reduce youth violence. Homicides occurring annually over 2 lakhs worldwide among youth between ages of 10 to 29. They kill others and they kill themselves. Especially more than 2 lakhs in the ages of 10 to 29. Roughly 11 lakhs 50,000 high school students face an incident with a weapon at school, and they are injured each year in US. In 4 out of 5 school shootings, at least one other person was aware that attack was about to happen. So knowing it's about to take place, but they don't report due to various reasons. Nearly 90,000 school children end up in the emergency room because of the impact of school violence. Threats aren't reported because students don't want to be called a snitch. So many events go unreported, and there are unreported threats as well. So this week is important because it spreads awareness regarding youth violence. It also tackles several factors that may trigger teenagers to resort to violence, including video games, violent movies, etc. Due to information provided throughout the week, people become aware of the violence that exists. With this, they begin to take precautionary measures to protect people in case of horrific incident occurs. Incidents of youth violence will likely decrease as time passes. This is due to the awareness that is created and security measures that are put in place. This week is also commemorated as National Student Leadership Week in US, which is sponsored by National Association of Student Councils, NASC, National Junior Honor Society, NJHS, and National Honor Society, NHS. Student leaders have dealt with online learning and changing health restrictions. They have come up with unique service project concepts and virtual spirit rallies to keep school communities engaged. They have done it all by establishing their path. It's vital to recognize these incredible people for their tenacity as well as the maturity and skill they display for their age. So the history of this National Student Leadership Week dates back to September 26, 1972. It's all started from when former President Richard Nixon issued a White House proclamation declaring National Student Government Day. The day, which was once an autumn celebration, was turned into a spring event in 1975 as part of the preparations for the United States bicentennial. National Student Leadership Day was renamed National Student Government Day in 1979. The day was extended into a week-long celebration in April 1983, and that has been the norm ever since. One of the sponsors of World Student Leadership Week is the National Junior Honor Society, established in 1929 by the National Association of Secondary School Principals, NASSP. Its goal was to create an organization that would not only recognize but actively encourage intellectual achievements. It should also build vital attributes for citizens in a democracy. At the same time, the NASSP aims to encourage excellence in school leadership. So the organization's original logo has been replaced by a new logo with initials NASSP and the phrase Leadership Schools. And this is also a parent chapter of NHS that has a scholarship program that has provided more than $19 million in scholarships to senior members of NHS who have excelled academically. So this week is also commemorated as National Playground Safety Week in US. It highlights importance of responsible play. A playground is a place, usually outdoors, specially built to give kids a space to have fun together with other children in the neighborhood. Recreation areas can also be enjoyed by adults. However, the equipment is more for fitness purposes. Playgrounds come with hazards and risks, so it's important to consider family safety, which is why National Program for Playground Safety, NPPS, established National Playground Safety Week as a time to focus on children's outdoor play environments and show gratitude for those who effectively maintain playgrounds. So the history of playgrounds goes back to the 19th century when developmental psychologists like Friedrich Frobel came up with an idea of recreational area as a developmental tool that instills children with sense of fair play and good manners. Playgrounds in Germany were built for childhood development, but the first purpose-built recreational area or open to public was in Manchester, England in 1859. In the 20th century, as more vehicles rode the streets, it wasn't safe for children to play in the lanes near their homes anymore. Thus, designated play areas were built to protect kids from the dangers of the road and into secured areas instead. To safeguard the outdoor play area and reduce potential accidents and injuries, we need to have a playground safety checklist. Children should be comfortable swinging themselves by the age of 5. At that age, they should have the coordination to balance themselves on a swing. Children from ages of 5 and up can climb with little guidance, while younger children between 3 and 4 may not have developed the necessary motor skills and need more assistance to do monkey bars. So take the time to show gratitude towards those who maintain playgrounds so that the environment is safe for children to play. You could show your appreciation by giving a donation or a voucher or a thank note. inspect the equipment in your local playground in your personal capacity. Raise any concerns you may have with the parks manager or recommend any safety upgrades that come to mind. If your concerns aren't being taken seriously, see if you can get support of fellow community members. Reaching out to the media is also another option available to you if you are trying to prevent the injury of the child. It improves children's playability. Playgrounds allow the children to play, and it improves their balance and coordination. And make sure the playgrounds are away from residential areas or from industrial areas. Often it can create a lot of disturbance and nuisance to the fellow neighborhood. And again, it can create a lot of issues in maintaining the play area. So play areas are to be designated in the communities where children need to be taken safely and under guidance, they are allowed to be played. So the opportunity that kids have to interact with others in the playground enhances speech development and communication skills. It helps develop speech. Spending time on a playground teaches children to wait their turn without complaining is an important life skill. So playgrounds build children's patience. It helps kids overcome challenges. Playgrounds teach children how to solve problems. And research reveals that children with the freedom to play grow to become happier and well-adjusted adults. So it's an orderly chaos. But it all depends on the caregiver or the caretaker. If he or she is already a chaos, then don't expect your children or the kids to be organized. So it's a skill and an art in both the way to manage children in the playground. A National Playground Safety Week recognized the need to secure the space in which children learn lifelong skills. It makes it easy to lobby for the infrastructure and that we need. Playground equipment used by nursery and preschool children has been found to improve their basic language and math skills. The equipment also assists in building a child's creativity and imagination, and also ensure the space is adequately spaced and have a larger area. Don't confine these children to confined constricted spaces. Often these crowded spaces and confined spaces has a toll on their mental health. And also the equipment also assist in building a child's creativity and imagination. So researchers agree that physical activity reduces the risk of psychological issues in kids and builds their self-esteem. It's like a balm to the very soul, but ensure they have adequate, open space without causing any disturbance or without having any risk or hazards in the play area. So it is always advisable. They can be taken to a playground near or located in your community for some time under supervision of the caretakers or caregivers, instead of making them play in constricted spaces that can build up stress and anxiety over a period of time. And it can also cause various psychological and mental health issues over a period of time. So Action Today is also commemorated as National Infant Immunization Week in US. It is observed annually and highlights the need for protecting children of ages 2 years and more under the vaccine preventable diseases. So every year it is observed to protect small children from vaccine preventable diseases and is essential to make sure that families stay on track with their children vaccination. The first Infant Immunization Week, NIIW, was observed in 1994 with the support of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, was created to increase the profile of an infant immunization programs in the US. Immunization saves millions of lives every year, but still there are more than 19 million under-vaccinated people. National Infant Immunization Week promotes immunization programs and increases awareness thereof. Before, children were not protected through immunizations, which put them at risk of fatal diseases. But today, children can be protected from 14 serious diseases. Yes, the shots might hurt a little, but the diseases that they can protect the infants from are much more dangerous. So it is better to keep your children protected from infectious diseases. So in 1796, Edward Jenner tests the first vaccine against smallpox and it works. So smallpox vaccine was invented in 1796. The MMR vaccine is created to prevent measles, mumps, and rubella, is developed in 1971. And several vaccinations were made available during mid-1980s. Many vaccines became available to prevent many diseases. National Immunization Week is created to increase awareness about vaccinations for small children in 1994. According to the CDC, Center for Child Development, and at 1 to 2 months, your baby should receive vaccines to protect from the following diseases, which includes hepatitis B, second dose, diphtheria, tetanus, and whooping cough, pertussis, DTaP, first dose, and Haemophilus influenza type B disease, HIB, first dose, polio, IPV, first dose, and pneumococcal disease, PCV13, first dose, and rotavirus, first dose. So according to the US Department of Health and Human Services, the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Center for Disease Control, CDC, recommends that all newborns get the first hepatitis B shot before leaving the hospital. If the mother has HPV, her baby should also get a HB shot within 12 hours of birth. The second hepatitis B shot should be given 1 to 2 months after the birth. According to Immunize, after vaccination, children may be fuzzy because of pain or fever. To reduce discomfort, you may want to give your child a medicine such as histamine, or acetaminophen, ibuprofen, with the consultation of a pediatrician. And you can also observe the day by posting banners or awareness about Infant Immunization Week on websites to create awareness. And childhood vaccines are 90 to 99% effective against diseases. And of course, they do have side effects, but which are quite rare. Many dangerous diseases that affect children have been reduced or eliminated completely due to immunization programs. Many deadly diseases have been reduced. All diseases or all vaccine preventable diseases are extremely dangerous. These diseases or the disease that a child is vaccinated against can cause severe complications or even death, regardless of whether they receive the best medical treatment or not. Babies react to vaccinations better. The younger they are, more effective are the vaccinations. All vaccinations are tested for safety. They must first prove to be safe and effective against the disease they are made for. All vaccines protect our children from dangerous diseases like measles, rubella, and mumps. If diseases spread, they can result in increased costs economically and socially. So vaccines protect us from this. And it also increases awareness of the importance of vaccinations around the nation. This week is also commemorated as Every Kid Healthy Week in US. It is essential because to grow up into a healthy adults, it is important for the kids to be healthy and active from a young age. To ensure parents and children are aware of the advantages of nutrition and wellness, Every Kid Healthy Week is celebrated every year. So it all started in 2002 when Action for Healthy Kids began to establish a network across the US after Dr. David Satcher addressed childhood obesity as a epidemic. After the initiative began to be recognized, several steps several steps were taken, including meetings with policymakers as well as school administrators. And also focused on school wellness by launching a toolkit for parents to better inform them on wellness practices. By 2012, numerous events under its belts that all aim to increase the health and nutrition of the kids were organized. So this week, which is celebrated every year, brings to light numerous physical and mental health problems faced by the children of today, how they can be managed, and most importantly, how schools and parents can play a vital role in the health of a child. This week is also commemorated as American Camp Week in United States. So as April marks the onset of warmer months and bid farewell to the winters, it is exciting to look forward on going out and spending time outdoors. So it serves as a cheerful reminder of how beautiful the outdoors can be and how important it is to spend time in nature. Today also, we are commemorating Action Day for Tolerance and Respect Between People in Argentina. It's a national day that commemorates and recognizes the attempts of Ottoman Empire in 1915 to systematically eradicate the Armenian people from their homeland. Rather, as only 33 countries have formally recognized the actions of Ottoman Empire in World War I as genocide, this day brings clear focus on to how the persecution of peoples can willingly go on as governments' concerns over political connection rather than human rights supersede their ability to act. This week is also commemorated as Allergy Awareness Week in United Kingdom. Allergies are very much real and affect more people than we may think. It might be as a minute as a rash or as a severe as complete immune system shutdown. But either way, allergies are an essential health topic and should be treated as such. If you have heard the saying, one man's food is another man's poison, then you may have already understood the concept of allergies. So there are several things we encounter daily without reaction that could stir up allergies in other people. It could be the water we drink, the food we eat, or even the stuffed animals we have lying around. It boils down to the difference in our DNA and genetic makeup. So simply put, allergies are conditions triggered by a sensitivity of the immune system to substances in the environment that would ordinarily be considered harmless. Often people suffering from allergic conditions do not realize it until they experience their first reaction. These reactions comes with the symptoms like rashes, red eyes, shortness of breath, and even swelling. Allergies develop due to genetic makeup, hereditary factors, and environmental conditions. Allergic reactions are caused by the binding of the immune system's antibodies to the allergen and then to the receptor, which triggers the release of inflammatory chemicals. The term allergy appeared in the 1900s and was coined from the Greek word "selos," that means other, and "ergen," that means work. So since then, several classifications and diagnostic methods have been applied to distinguish various allergies. Allergies are common among over 50% of the worldwide population living with an allergy of one kind or one sort. Allergy UK, a British charity, established Allergy Awareness Week. It focuses on raising awareness for children and adults living with allergies, raising funds and offering resources to support allergy victims. Allergy is introduced as a concept by Viennese pediatrician called Clemenson Pirquet in 1906. The antibody immunoglobulin E is discovered simultaneously by two independent groups, leading to a major breakthrough in an allergy research in 1966 and 1967. The radioallergeno or allergenosorbent test or RAST method invented by the radioallergenosorbent test or RAST method invented by Pharmaca Diagnostics AB Sweden becomes the first diagnostic method for allergies. Allergy UK is founded as in 1974. Allergy UK is founded as British Allergy Foundation in 1991. So the theme for the 2022 Allergy Awareness Week was Childhood Food Allergy. This theme was coined to focus on the parents of babies with food allergies and weaning process of such allergies. As of now, there is no Allergy Awareness Day. There are, however, several weeks focused on raising awareness about allergies and their sufferers, such as Allergy Awareness Week, World Allergy Week, and Food Allergy Awareness Week. So hay fever is sometimes called allergic rhinitis and is an allergic condition caused by a reaction to a variety of outdoor or indoor allergens such as dust, pollen, fur, and other microorganisms. Its symptoms are itchy, watery eyes, squeezing, and sometimes skin rashes or redness of the skin. It is seasonal allergy that usually occurs during spring, summer, or early fall. So another way you can participate in Allergy Awareness Week is by offering your talents, helping hands or services. your talents, helping hands, or services as a volunteer. Allergy UK is continuously seeking individuals willing to join the organization as volunteers. This gives you hands-on experience dealing with individuals affected by allergies. Asthma is a medical condition caused by allergic reactions that affect the respiratory system, and asthma is one of them. And according to the studies, allergies are sixth leading cause of chronic illness in the US, and this can be severe. Allergies are one of the most common health issues that affect children. Hay fever is a seasonal form of allergic rhinitis that often occurs in the spring, summer, or early fall, and certain allergies can be seasonal. An estimated $18 billion is spent on allergies each year, and they are expensive. So though they are very common, there is hardly any serious form of awareness focused on allergies and their effects on victims and caretakers. So this week aims to highlight the concept of allergic reactions, raising awareness about their dire effects and spotting those affected allergies. And this week is also providing support to those deal with allergic conditions and highlights bodies like Allergy UK and the fund and the resources they use to render a helping hand to allergy victims and caretakers. It not only brings the plight of victims and the families of sufferers to the forefront, but educates people on the seriousness of certain allergic reactions. This week stirs up a need for personal research that develops our knowledge on the types of allergies, possible causes, and how to find treatments. This week is also commemorated as Active School Week in Ireland to promote, incentivize, and support physical activities in school. This week also helps to transform the kids' relationship with athletics. And the week is filled with exercises and fun excursions that inculcate a positive relationship between students and physical exercise. It is an initiative of Active School Flag, Ireland's premium health initiative, which has focused on enhancing physical activity in school-going children since 2009. Fully committed school hours packed with lessons, homework, and extra classes are what standard school week looks like for the student in Ireland. This schedule hinders their goal of getting 60 minutes of physical activity every day, and kids evolving from this kind of schedule find it extra hard to inculcate physical activities in adulthood as well. So research supports that children with an active and exuberant lifestyle find it easier to concentrate and excel in coursework. Active School Week supports teachers by coming up with challenging and creative ways to get more physically active during weekdays. The program includes a variety of cross-curricular physical activities that energize indoor and outdoor learning. This also includes indoor activities that break up sedentary time in between the classes to restore focus and reignite. All activities are planned with sustainability and participation in mind. Schools across Ireland observe the week with immense joy and line their calendars with events, games, and so much more. Today is also Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day, commemorates the lives lost and the history of Armenia during World War I. And today is also Action Day for tolerance and respect between people in Argentina, which we have already commemorated. And we have Fashion Revolution Day in US today commemorated to help direct the future of fashion industries by steering campaigns and using in media influence to call on favorite fashion brands. It promotes transparency in the fashion industry and encourages a dialogue that helps reform practices that are not sustainable. So it took a calamity of epic proportions for us to come together as a global community to curate a more ethical fashion industry and give birth to fashion revolution. On April 24, 2013, in Dhaka, Bangladesh, an 8-story garment factory building known as Rana Plaza collapsed, resulting in over 1,300 plus deaths of men and women and children, inflicting over 2,500 injuries and leaving at least 800 children orphaned. This unfortunate event will remain one of the most unpleasant disasters in industrial design and fashion history. Over the years, the lack of transparency in fashion industry was not under public scrutiny. The supply chain is quite complex and vague. Millions of workers are exploited and are working in obscene amounts of hours for insufficient wages in inadequate conditions. Today is also International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. So it was created by United Nations Organization and is observed annually on April 24th. The United Nations was established for the sole purpose of maintaining international peace and security and fostering friendly relationships among nations. The organization created the day on December 12, 2018 to raise awareness for their top priority and to preserve values of multilateralism and cooperation on global scale. International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace has been observed annually since then, calling for worldwide attention on this matter. So, world peace has been a topic of conversation and concern ever since of the First World War in 1918. A need to foster peace on the global level became a priority for every nation, and establishing an organization that would cater to that responsibility was the first plan of action. The League of Nations was first intergovernmental organization tasked with the mission of world peace. It was founded after the World War I by the Paris Peace Conference. After 26 years, the League was dissolved due to it not being able to hold off aggressions from the Axis powers during the World War II. However, dissolution of the organization did not result in a standstill in the search for a world peace. The end of League of Nations marked the beginning of United Nations, which was founded in 1945. It came just in time right after the World War II with an initial membership of 51 nations. It was established to prevent future wars by maintaining international peace and security. Multilateralism is a concept in which the United Nations was established. Simply put, multilateralism is a union or alliance of multiple countries towards a common goal. It is an anti-unilateralism, meaning even the smallest powers are given a voice in global matters. The UN has become the most visible symbol for multilateralism and the foundation for creation of another multilateralism efforts such as World Health Organization, the World Bank, the World Trade Organization, and even the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization. The United Nations established International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace In 2018, through resolution 73/127 to preserve the values of multilateralism and international cooperation. So the United Nations has a total of 196 members that represent almost all the world's sovereign states. Diplomacy for the peace simply symbolizes the efforts of the United Nations towards world peace, specifically in dispute resolution among the countries. Today is also commemorated as National Skipping Day in US, and its purpose is to raise physical health awareness for children with the day of healthy exercise through skipping. It's organized by the skipping workshops that has around 250 schools with over 50,000 kids taking part in numerous skipping activities. Some might consider it childish, but skipping is a great way to exercise. It targets almost all muscles in your body. It burns fat and it also builds stamina. Having fun while exercising doesn't get any better. Today, skipping has risen to even greater heights. There are national championships for jump rope, and double dutch that draw in major audiences worldwide, and kids still enjoy them as playground activities. In 2002, National Skipping Day was organized as a way for children of all ages to come get some exercise by getting more of them skipping. Exercise experts say you are not going to lose weight just by skipping rope 1,000 times a day. 6 to 8 minutes a day is not quite enough to give you cardiovascular workout. You need to consistently lose weight and create the body you want. To get the best rope skipping benefits for your health, aim to jump rope at a moderate intensity for at least half an hour, 5 days a week. If your goal is losing weight, you may need to do more. Calories burned jumping rope can work out to 15 to 20 calories per minute. The average person could burn 200 to 300 jump rope calories in a simple 15-minute workout. So challenge your family, friends, and colleagues to jump rope contest. Create a series of games based on many different ways in which to play. Plan out games with water breaks in between and see who the jump rope champion really is. The popular American dance Skip to My Lou is about swapping partners during square dances. The earliest known of the term skipping rope was in 1802. There are many skipping techniques like toad, elephant, inverse toad, and egg beater. The word skipping is used in the Song of Solomon, religious skipping. Skipping is a competitive game in more than 40 countries. The competition grows. So skipping is fun. It keeps kids healthy, and also it's a perfect time to set people on the right path. We have the habit of pushing things away and telling ourselves as we'll get it to do it later. But this day reminds that skipping can become a natural part of our routine. Today, as already we commemorated World Week for Animals in Laboratories. Today is World Day for Animals in Laboratories. Starting from today, this is entire week is commemorated. So, as already mentioned, putting animal rights first is the goal of World Day for Laboratory Animals, which is observed annually on April 24th. And it was created to call attention to animal suffering and killings undertaken in the laboratories across the world. Each year, millions of animals are used to conduct experiments and tests of all kinds across various industries, resulting in terrible conditions for the animals in question. The National Anti-Vivisection Society, NAVS, created this day over 40 decades ago. And since then, the campaign has gained overwhelming popularity and many advocates for the cause. Every day before your most loved medical supplies, cosmetics, and toiletries hit the counter, they go through a series of tests to ensure they are safe for human consumption. This sounds logical and impressive when you first hear it, but we tend to forget the tests and experiments that go on behind the scenes to ensure that happens. One of the most outdated yet practiced methods in these industries is animal testing or research. Animal research has been in existence since 2nd century BC and have been used throughout the existence of biomedical research. The first modern use of animal testing can be seen in the creation of anthrax and insulin in the 1800s and 1900s respectively, and the concept eventually gained popularity in genetics and toxicology testing in drugs. Over the years, animal testing has been used in the cosmetic, medical, aviation, and even warfare industries in a variety of ways. However, the pitfalls of this method has also come to light due to high incidence of harm to and fatalities of animals and severe failed projects. Two major examples of such failed projects are BIA 10-2474 drug trial and drug TNG 1412. The National Anti-Vivisection Society, NAVS, was established in 1875, becoming the first vivisection organization in the world. It is a non-profit animal protection group based in London. Their goal is to replace animal testing with more advanced scientific techniques. Animal Defenders International, ADI, is another animal rights protection group that was established in 1990. Both organizations have gained massive popularity and created a major impact over the years in the cause to end animal research. They now work together as one body under the name ADI. They created World Day for Laboratory Animals to raise global awareness of the fatal effects of animal testing while encouraging more advanced techniques. So Lord Hugh Dowling was an Air Chief Marshal and officer in the Royal Air Force. He played a major role in Britain's defense in World War II and the defeat of Adolf Hitler's plan to invade Britain. He became the president of NAVS after World War II and made many passionate speeches against animal testing in the House of Lords. In 1973, the Lord Dowling Fund for Human Research was created in his honor. Shortly after, World Day for Laboratory Animals was established on April 24th because that is also birth date of Lord Dowling. The Brown Dog Affair is one of the earliest public cases of the protest against vivisection, which is experimental surgery carried out on living organisms, especially animals. It came about due to allegations raised against William Bayliss of the Department of Physiology at University College London, who performed illegal vivisection on a brown terrier. It was deemed cruel and illegal by NAVS, resulting in a nationwide controversy that divided the country. In 1906, a statue was erected in Battersea Park in the honor of the dog and over 200 animals that were victims at the same university. The statue mysteriously disappeared in 1910 and was again erected by NAVS in 1985. So buy cruelty-free products. Cruelty-free products are those that are manufactured without any harm to plants or animals. Some companies make it sole mission to create cruelty-free cosmetics and daily household products. Pledge to only purchase such products and take it step forward by swapping out some of your favorite products for a cruelty-free substitute today. Challenge your family and friends to follow suit and foster accountability for one another. Animal testing has become an outdated, inaccurate technique due to differences in genealogy in different animal species. Using aspirin can cause birth defects in monkeys and can be dangerous on animals. According to the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, each year over 100 million experiments are conducted on animals in the US alone. And there are 50 scientific alternatives to animal testing, which are several alternatives. And to date, there are no laws completely banning the use of animals in research experiments, and laws such as Animal Welfare Act protect only 95% of animals. So this day protects animal rights, encourages the use of cruelty-free products, and it is a global awareness campaign. This day is also commemorated as Cream Day. Sounds silly at first, but the day has its merits. Modern day hustling has led to a lot of pent-up anxiety and pressure, which we all need a healthy way to channel. While meditation is a go-to way to relax, many psychologists convince that there is nothing like good old screaming to let it all out. Releasing built-up frustrations through screaming is surprisingly calm for the brain. Scream Day awareness of the health benefits of screaming. At some point, all of us have benefited from letting out a long howl, whether it is screaming into a pillow, in the car, in an empty room, or in any space where we felt comfortable. Over 2000 years ago, screaming was viewed as a therapeutic and was supplementary to Eastern medicine. Master of Chinese medicine, Dr. Lu believes that screaming aids with liver stagnation. Primal screening was designed by Arthur Yano as a way to process emotions and let it all out with a long howl. There is evidence about the screening taps into deep emotions and bring them to the surface. While there are many benefits to streaming, using it as a means to heal must be done properly and not in the space that will make others uncomfortable or even justify bad behavior towards others under the guise of using screaming as a way to channel emotions. So Norwegian artist Edvard Munch paints his popular compassion title, The Scream, in 1893. The first installment of the Hollywood movie franchise Scream is released. Will I Am and Britney Spears released their hit single Scream and Shout in 2013. Kanye West talks about his primal therapy sessions with the media in 2018. The best way to celebrate this day is to scream and let all out the first frustrations that have been building up. So many places now offer screaming therapy, guiding on you the best practices for psychological, these solutions like screaming in a safe environment. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemoration. We thank everyone for joining us. Those who have not registered for today's webinar, we request everyone to quickly register. It's mandatory for certification. We are sharing the link once again. After filling up the feedback form, you can move on to filling up of registration form if you haven't. yet filled in. So thank you everyone for joining us. And we have also circulated the 1 week International Psychology Conference coming up on 27th, and thereon from 28th and 29th, we have offline conference, which is also online. You can participate online. So we are having next day on 30th April, and then it goes up to 1st May 2023. So thank you everyone for joining us. Quickly fill up the feedback form. It has been raised in the form of polls. It is mandatory for generating certificate. Those who are interested to present or make presentations or participate in the psychology conferences, the links has been already shared in the WhatsApp groups, Telegram channel, and various other platforms. So we request everyone to join us and forward to your friends and colleagues working in various disciplines so that they can register and make presentations and participation. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Good night. See you all tomorrow at the same time.